How to avoid failure as a business coach. BJ O'Neill here with Business Coach Mastery with just a quick training, some things to think about for you, regardless of where you are on your business growth journey. Maybe you've been coaching for 4 or 5 years. You've got 7, 8, 9 clients or so, and maybe you've lost a couple of clients. Maybe you've kind of plateaued or kind of gotten stagnant, right? There could be some challenges that you're going through. Maybe you're brand new. You've been a VP, sales, some ministry background, whatever it may be, and you've decided to begin to help businesses grow profitability in their business. And the question is, how do I do this and not fail? How do I avoid it? Well, here's one big thing to consider first. Should we avoid failure to start with? What I mean by that is, I'm not suggesting that we want things to be challenging. However, we live in a fallen world. Things will not go perfect. We don't know everything. And it's really easy in this overly induced world of social media for things to be perfect. But that's just not life. It's not reality. If you have kids or grandkids even, you've reared them, and you know the challenges that comes with, because it's life. Well, starting anything, even a business coaching practice is no different. So one, we want to embrace the challenge. Now, what we don't want to do is just to do things haphazardly in what Dave Ramsey would call pay the stupid tax. In other words, there should be some obvious things that we do that's going to avoid making us really ridiculous mistakes, and that we don't want to do. But what we want to do is that the only way to truly learn is to embrace the challenge. So rather than having the mindset to just avoid it, we want to say, whatever comes, I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to learn from that the next time. And then, like the thing we talk about all the time in our community, the sum of 1% daily gains is that I'm getting better, I'm getting it better and better. So as I apply those 1%, failures and challenges are going to reduce. They'll never go away. I think you probably know that. But we certainly want to be able to reduce them in a big way. Many years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of age, we were in a swimming pool, and multiple times my dad was trying to get me to jump off the diving board. Maybe you remember those back in the day when most pools had diving boards. And I didn't want to do that. So we, several days, weeks, I don't know how long, he always was trying to encourage me to jump off the diving board, jump off the diving board. And I finally one day decided I was going to try it, but the assurance was he was going to catch me. And so I get up there, I get to the edge, I got scared a little bit, backed off, kind of did, that whole back and forth kind of thing. Finally, I jumped. And of course, as most great dads do, he did not catch me immediately. He let me sink a little bit, and then he caught me. What's the point? When we approach things by just staying in a shallow end all the time, we're not embracing true growth realities. Sometimes we just got to jump off the diving board. And depending upon where you are right now in your journey, maybe that's you. Maybe you need to stop just kind of meddling and dabbling and playing and actually take the path of just jumping in, because the quicker you jump in, the challenges that they're going to be are going to arise, and you can do something about them a lot faster. Versus if you tiptoe your way into the wading pool and it's just a little step, first of all, you're delaying your growth because you're not embracing challenges quick enough. You're not even bringing up things that can help you grow simply because you're playing it way too safe. So, believe it or not, sounds like an oxymoron. One of the ways to be able to avoid failure is to just meet it head on, jump off the diving board, and to do it quickly. The next thing is strategy. This is probably, I probably deal with this with our coaching team. We've got, as of right now, close to 90 coaches all around the country, and different, some guys are CPAs, some guys are financial planners, some were in sales, some own businesses, digital marketing companies, and so on. Well, one of the biggest challenges that makes life really difficult in growing a business coaching practice is when we simply dabble. We are, one day our plan is over here, one day our plan is over there, I'm going to try this. Well, I think you probably know when you just try something, that kind of attitude, you're not really going to get from it what you should and what you could. Rather, you should have a solid strategic process, period. And that strategic process allows you to make edits, changes based upon what you're learning. So here's an example. Let's say that you love to get in front of people and you love to teach. Maybe you lead a small group at your church. Maybe you do training. You did training for years in the workplace that you in your career, and you like that apparatus. So you decide that you're going to do workshops as a means to make a significant impact into the business community. It's also going to be a measure of how you're going to invite people that will become prospects, people who are interested and need help and want help in growing the profitability and to growing their leadership and culture of their business, okay? So let's say that you decide to do that. Well, if you kind of just dabble in it You schedule one over here. You kind of were lackadaisical and lazy about the inviting people to it. You scheduled one here and it was 6 to 8 weeks later to do another one. That's not a strong strategy. A strong strategy in this case would be, I'm going to do one every single week. All of my comings and goings, if it's networking, if it's referrals or whatever, my number one thing that I'm going to do strategically is to make an invitation to invite them to a workshop. So the same thing would apply. If I'm going to networking events, joint ventures, or whatever, I want to have strategy that involves consistency, that involves numbers. In other words, KPIs, that involves my message, how I'm making the invitation, and I'm going to get better at it the more times that I do it. Frequency, period, is a recipe for growth, okay? That's the reason why you want to make sure that you have a strong strategy. The second thing is, or the next thing rather, is intense focus. Reviewing that strategy, processing that strategy with your peers, working with someone that's, like on our coaching team. I had a call yesterday. We're working through a plan for one of our coaches, like just constantly reevaluating the process. Well, if you're not focused on it, which also dabs back into where dabbling comes into play, if you're not careful, that's a sabotage of focus. So we want to have a great strategy. We want to be intense and focus on that strategy for results, okay? So that you can get forward momentum. Because as you start to draw the application, you're going to be able to make a decision on what's working, what's not working. But if you don't have enough focus, if you don't have enough frequency, if you don't have enough data, if you will, very difficult to avoid failure simply because you're not doing enough of anything for that matter, okay? Last couple of things. This is a big one. If you really want to avoid failure, if you want to embrace the challenges, you got to get really good with persuasion. Now, some people are like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't like sales. I think it's, for me at least, that's probably because of the mindset you may be thinking about it. If we have this mindset, I'm going to go out here and build a business coaching practice, but I don't do sales. I don't like sales. That's actually in and of itself going to significantly increase the problems, and you're going to have a lot of failure because of the way you're setting things up. Rather, the idea is persuasion. And persuasion is a real thing. I joke all the time. My daughter, who's in high school, persuades me every day to go get ice cream. She loves ice cream, and she all the time, hey, can we go to Andy's, go to Andy's to get ice cream, right? And so persuasion is not a bad thing. We're not trying, your goal should not be to try to sell someone on anything. The heart behind it is this, the investment to help someone grow. God can use you as a beacon in someone's life, in their business. I like to call it marketplace ministry. He can use you to be able to help someone to get to where they want to go in life. See, in our world, in our system, in our community, in our done-for-you business coaching practices that we give coaches, we have an entire roadmap and a plan that's going to help a business to be able to find incremental percentage increases in multiple areas. By the way, that's how you actually achieve significant growth. We like to call it profit acceleration, okay? So we have a plan. We have a step-by-step process where we're going to myopically help a business to be able to increase their ability to increase their profits and to increase their revenues. That's worthy of working together. That's worthy of getting paid. Getting paid well, by the way. The average coach charges between $2,000 and $3,000 a month for one-on-one coaching. We'll get into that another day. But the point is that we don't want to just look at this as a sales process. We want to make an investment to add value, to be a thought leader, to help someone to see things that they've never seen before. The goal isn't to say, here's how you can do it. The goal is to be able to show a business what they're missing and to help them have their own, what we call aha moments. That's where the process really takes flight. Well, when you do that and they begin to see, wait a minute, here's someone that can help me. You're their Indiana Jones, if you will. What you've done is to help them, to persuade them to see what they likely have been doing wrong in their business to what's possible in their business. That by itself, when you look at it just as a sales process, that's where you sabotage your ability to engage and build significant, long-lasting relationship. Last point, speaking of the word long-lasting. Building anything is a long game. Too many people enter into this space and they want quick, immediate results. By the way, you can do that. We see it all the time. We have new coaches that come on board. They get a client really quick within a few weeks, a couple of months, few weeks, that kind of thing. But long-lasting success for sustainability is the long game. Being able to make really good plans for the next 12 months and the next 36 months specifically is where it's at. When you have a plan that says, let's say that I'm just making numbers up here for context. Let's say that you're at 0 today. In 36 months, I want to make, $350,000 a year. That's my annual number. At the moment, it's like, man, going from 0 to that number, what am I going to do? Well, you have got 36 months to back into that number. When you begin to play the long game and plan out things on a monthly basis of how you're going to level up, work through the challenges, that's how you're embracing the failure. And that's ultimately, though, how you're avoiding disaster, right? See, by doing these steps that I just shared with you, you have an opportunity to significantly increase your ability to be able to grow yourself, to make an investment into the business community, to help people to have thriving, long-lasting businesses where they can hire people, where they can invest in their own communities, those that are believers, to be able to invest into their churches and their ministries. But we can't do it when we don't have a plan. We can't do it when we just want to tiptoe into the wading pool and we don't want to embrace challenges. We can't do it when we're not looking and playing the long game. We can't do it when we're processed and we're working through the 1% daily gains to get better, to communicate, to make an investment, to help someone grow to where they see you as a change agent and a thought leader. Hope that makes sense to you. Wrestle with that. If you're new to this process, hey, you know what? You get better every day the more you embrace it and move forward. All right? Until next time, take care.